Hold the air, hold the air. Hold the air, he's got a firearm.
Good evening, I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Kim Holden. Family members of a man shot and killed by New Orleans police last week say their loved one had a history of mental illness and police should have been more sensitive.
But NOPD representatives say they had no idea the man was mentally ill. Catherine Mazzone has more.
I'm sorry I wasn't there for him at the time. I wish I really would have known that he was going to her.
Linnell Parker looks up at the apartment where her nephew spent the last 8 years of his life. In the complex, he was killed.
But it had to be something to trigger him off to act the way that he did. Because Donald don't normally act like that at all.
Last Friday, New Orleans police say officers responded to an aggravated assault call at this complex. They say once on scene, they found 40-year-old Donald Davis Jr. with a gun. According to NOPD Superintendent Shaun Ferguson, police body camera clearly shows Davis Jr. fire at officers. He says they returned fire, shooting and killing Davis Jr.
He wasn't out to kill anybody. He was out for attention.
Parker says she saw that video too.
I think that they acted the way it was supposed to act, but it wasn't cause for him to be shot down the way he was shot down.
Parker says her nephew suffered from a history of mental illness, including bipolar disorder and schizophrenia.
He was to hear voices and stuff, but he never did harm anybody.
She believes Davis Jr.'s outburst last week was a cry for help. Yet NOPD representatives say the department had no prior knowledge of Davis Jr.'s mental history. We checked his criminal record in Orleans Parish and found it dates back to 2010. In 2014, documents indicate Davis Jr. pleaded guilty to 2013 charges, including attempted robbery, resisting an officer, and attempt to disarm a peace officer. His record mentions nothing about mental illness. Parker believes had police known, things might have turned out differently.
When they read and run their name up, all that should come up along with it. That the person have a mental problem and y'all can handle it in a different way.
Now, Parker and the rest of Davis Jr.'s family is trying to move forward, mourning a man they call a good guy with a great sense of humor.
Donald was a sweet person. He wasn't no thug. He wasn't no drug dealer. He was a regular old guy trying to make it from day to day.
We reached out to NOPD. Representatives tell us they do plan to release body camera footage of the incident next week. A police source tells us even after Davis Jr. was on the ground, video shows him.
Kelly Brown, a 40-year-old Donald Davis Jr. died, but police say the video clearly shows he fired the first shot.
Natasha Robin has the latest from NOPD headquarters.
Police Chief Shaun Ferguson wants to stress that his officers had no choice but to return fire in this incident that unfolded on May 17th. Now, the NOPD released several pieces of video. One piece of video was from the leasing office of the Laguna Creek Apartments on Parc Brittany in New Orleans East. Police say the video clearly shows the suspect, 40-year-old Donald Davis Jr., with a gun in his hand. They say he's waving the gun around and threatening people, and they say he leaves. Officers then respond to an aggravated assault call, and Chief Ferguson says as they were leaving to further investigate, Davis Jr. returned to the leasing office. And Ferguson says you can see him fire the first shot, and his officers return fire. Once on the ground, Davis lifts his gun again at officers. They yell for him to drop it, and the officers shoot again. Davis died. Chief Ferguson says his officers had no time to de-escalate the situation and were forced to shoot. Davis's family members say he suffered from a history of mental illness, and they say the shooting was a cry for help.
Before the officers could say anything, the individual began to approach our officers, pointing his weapon, then firing at our officers. There was no talking to him. He didn't give us a chance to say any words. And trust us, we wish that he had. This didn't have to turn out this way, but again, we were left with no other option.
But it had to be something to trigger him off to act the way that he did. Because Donald don't normally act like that at all. He wasn't out to kill anybody, he was out for attention.
In all, police say the officers fired 31 rounds. They say Davis fired one shot. Chief Ferguson says the officers involved in this shooting will return to the streets sometime this week. At NOPD headquarters, Natasha.